This episode of Chewing the Fat is brought to you by the Secret Hub Studios in conjunction with netchannel2.com.
Good evening, everyone. Chewing the Fat, episode 33, 3rd of May, 2012. And this evening, once again, we have with us Mr. Glenn Goodman. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Well, thank you, Eric. Well, thank you.
What's been going on?
Nothing too serious. Nothing too much up here. Quite a lazy bit of a week, actually. Well, busy weekend last weekend. Went to the sunny coast for the day for a wedding.
You were originally going to stay overnight, correct?
We were thinking about it, but then, well, we just went for the day. You know, I needed an alibi for the shooting, but that's another story. But yeah. So while we were away,
I just got that. Well done. Well
but
played.
While we were away, yes, the shoot up at Robina Town Centre. What is going on?
Yes. You know what? That's not far from you, is it?
That's where I work. It's a 10-minute walk.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Right. I shouldn't laugh because people were injured, and I was reading all the tweets about because it was trending topic on that day while it was all happening, and someone said, 2 people shot outside Vodafone store or Telstra store or something, and someone tweeted back, "That's what happens when you try and take back an Android tablet." That was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. People have got a good sense of humour, haven't they?
Oh dear. I cracked up.
Yeah, so a senior member of the Banditos or something was shot in the arm. Innocent bystander was shot in the hand.
Yep.
So no good. They got the guy in Melbourne, brought him back to Queensland.
Oh, he was a Melbourneite, so at least he wasn't from Sydney. But I'm sure he was going to cause havoc on his way down anyway.
But look, I read a story today. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this, so the details are a bit scratchy in my head now. But there was I'm pretty sure it was in New South Wales somewhere. There was a bikie. Now, did he blow a car up or?
I know what you're going to talk about. Yes, it was a bikie, ex-leader of, I don't know which bikie gang, so I'm not going to say. Can't remember. He torched a police van out the front of a police station or something.
That's right.
And torched it, wrote it off. And the magistrate gave him bail, get this, because he has close ties with the community. Yeah. Which community is he talking about?
Well, he's keeping them warm. It was a cold night.
Jeez.
But he got bail, and it was $1,000 fine or something. Well, yeah. That's the problem. That's what's wrong.
That's what's wrong. Zero tolerance. I go for zero tolerance. You know what? God help this country, because they can thank their lucky stars I'm not in charge, because I would be a benevolent dictator.
Yeah.
I would do. So, no, sorry. That's what's good for the country. That's what you're going to do. Go and do it, or I'm going to lock you up. That's simple.
Okay, so he torched a police car. So who's paying for the car? Well, that's like
taxpayers' money.
$80,000 car.
Oh, after they're all been kitted out, they buy these those cop vans. Might have been like a Nissan Patrol or something, and they buy them for $40,000. But then they've got to kit them out. They generally change the engines on them so they can go a bit faster. Yep. They've got all the equipment in it. They've got hard-wearing tyres. They've got reinforced what you call it? Possibly reinforced chassis at the chassis and the cabin, and possibly a bigger fuel tank.
Yeah.
So it's probably maybe $10,000-$20,000 worth of modifications on these things.
Is he going to pay for this?
No, he'll be lucky if he spends a day in jail. This bloke, because of our stupid bail laws. I would have put him in. I wouldn't have given him bail, and I would have made his trial next year, and let him rot in the can for 12 months, and then I would have sentenced him for 5 years minimum for torching.
I was going to say 6, but
5 years. 5. And the old. Oh, I'll give you 5 years, but because you've already served 1, I'll give you 4 years. No, 5 years on top of the 1 you've already served.
Yeah. Look, we just got a comment here from the Chewing the Fat Lounge. He also went to the cop shop and warned them prior to the event.
So it was premeditated. So you've got motive, opportunity, and what's the other one? Motive, opportunity, and there's 3 of them that they look for. You got motive, you hate cops. I mean, and I'm a bandito, and I hate cops. Motive, opportunity, it was right there, and means. And he had means, which means he had a petrol bomb or something, right? So sorry,
Mm.
10 years lock up, straight up.
Yeah. Like, okay, we got to keep these guys safe for 5 years, and probably costs what, 100,000 a year,
No,
something like that.
it costs about $40,000 a year to keep them per prisoner.
Right. So it's going to cost us 5 fours are 20.
200,000, 5 years. But
But
when you have strict laws, and everyone's going to go, oh, but lock everyone up, and the cost of running a jail is going to go up. So actually, initially, yes, until people start getting the message, and then they stop. They go, oh, you know what, I'm not going to forget that. I don't want a bloody unlicensed gun. I don't want to bloody carry a knife, because carrying a concealed knife, 5 years.
Now, this guy that was over at the town centre did the shooting. Now, for me, he could have been. He's obviously. I reckon he would have been shooting to kill. You don't just pull and shoot people in the arm. He'd be shooting to kill.
Yeah, of course he was. Who was he shooting though?
20 years.
Who did he shoot? Was it another bikie? Yeah, it would have been, right?
Yeah. An opposing gang.
Oh, wow.
So, like 20 years. Killed the guy, 30 years, 40 years. Doesn't matter. Never see.
Well,
doesn't matter.
Alan Jones says this is what he reckons it should be. He said, if you are carrying an unlicensed gun, even before if we catch you with an unlicensed gun, 10 years. Even before you pull the trigger.
Yep.
If you pull the trigger at anybody other than a cop, 15. If you pull the trigger at a cop, 20.
Hmm.
And I reckon, you know what? I think he's got that on the head.
Yep. Just start putting them away. Just start putting
because
them away.
eventually they just go, you know what? It's not worth it.
Put them in the cupboard. Forget about them.
Yeah. Like my dad, you know what my dad says? I don't care. Let them kill themselves. They can shoot each other. But the problem with that is innocent bystanders.
That's right.
Put them all out in the desert and let them go crazy. That's fine.
They've stuffed up. I reckon that guy that did the shooting, he'll be in a lot of trouble because he has brought down the whole the state onto this. It's focused. It's brought it to a focus point.
Yep.
Because now, why not go and shoot this guy in his home, in his house? Oh, gang war, drug war, whatever. No one's harmed. They're fighting amongst themselves. You're right. Who cares? But
the only thing is if there's kids around. A lot of these bikies have kids.
Yeah, but you're going over here into a shopping centre.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's kids in the,
Yeah.
but it's best to keep him at home. Or why doesn't he get him down the park at night or something?
Yeah, ambush him. I don't care. I'm not giving him any ideas, but but that's right. He goes into a shopping centre, and I don't know Rabina that well, but I'm sure it's fairly busy. Depending on what time of day.
Oh, it's packed.
It was a weekend too. It was a Saturday.
Yeah, it's packed.
Would have been chocker.
It was chocker. So that was no good. That was no good, and I was surprised actually because you sent me an SMS saying, "I hope it wasn't me."
Yeah.
And and I was surprised that I straight away just jumped onto the news and had a look. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, look, it's just
Could
stupid.
not believe it.
Stupid. You know what else is stupid?
What?
Union boss Michael Williamson allegedly, in inverted quote end quote, caught trying to leave union officers with documents. Oh my God. Can this get any dirtier? I'm just waiting for this to be over. I want this government out of this forever. I don't want a Labor government ever in this country ever again because they're just evil. But you know what? Even I'm getting to the point now that I'm just tired.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. It is. And now this guy, what's his name? Williamson or something like that? Now, he's supposed to be on holidays or he's on leave.
It's on leave.
So the story is okay. He goes, oh yeah, I was just here, whatever he was supposed to be doing there. But he's on holidays.
But he's always turning up at the office. He's been told to stay away.
So he's on holidays, but he's at the office before 9 o'clock on a work day.
Yeah.
And he's
with
carrying
his son,
a briefcase full of documents headed for the shredder.
Yeah, headed for somewhere, or garbage dump. And apparently, too, on the Talkback show, can't remember which one, someone was saying, I just live around the corner from this bloke, and he's a piece of work, and I just drove past his place. Because, see, what happened, the events went like this. It was broken on the news at 9 o'clock, the police were at the offices, okay?
Yeah.
And then at about 10 past 9... this is before we heard that they'd caught him with the bag, right? At about 10 past 9, someone rang up a talk show and said, I know this bloke who lives around the corner, he's a piece of work, I just drove past his place, and everybody, his family, were packing up the cars. They were going somewhere. They were
Yeah.
packing up the cars. There were suitcases going in there, bags. There, 2 cars getting loaded up to the hilt, right? Because he probably thought, you know what, pack your bags, everyone. I'll be back in about 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, and then we're going. We're gonna disappear, and he was gonna take those. Obviously, allegedly, maybe speculating that he was gonna take those documents with him and dump them somewhere. And then about 10 minutes after that, it broke that a senior official was caught with this bag. At that time, no one knew it was him.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm thinking,
Yeah,
how dirty can it get? How dirty?
And then Craig Thompson up the other end of the coast, he's called a media conference with some just lackeys from the local TV shop university studio around the corner.
That's right, Gosford Community Radio or something.
and he's banged on he's banged on for the 10 minutes out. This has got nothing to do with me. This has got nothing to do with me. This has got nothing to do with me. But meanwhile, the investigation's going back 20 years.
Yeah, they're going right back to mid-90s. And then he said and then his next press release, his next media appearance was, well, this definitely got nothing to do with me because the cops haven't spoken to me about it. But then the police commissioner comes on and it says, we've tried to speak to him, but he won't cooperate.
Look, it's a joke. It's a joke. And obviously, so now the question is also turning towards, well, does the Prime Minister know about this? How long has she known about this, and why is she supporting this?
That is the question, and I think it goes a bit deeper than that. If you want to put your tinfoil hat on for a minute and your conspiracy theory brain in order, I think, and a lot of people have suggested as much, that is she protecting all unions? Because if it's happening in one union, you can't tell me it's an isolated case, right? So is she protecting all unions? That's the first question. Second question, is that why it seems to be so easy for ex-union delegates to get pre-selected by the Labor Party and then suddenly they're in Parliament?
Well, the union movement is just a stepping stone.
Yes, it is. But can you see how they're sort of, I think what they're doing is they're scratching each other's back. They're saying, look, you get me in and we can do things for you. And they're saying, but at the same time, if I do something for you, you've got to do something for me by keeping things quiet.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, all the no good deeds that we've been up to, you've got to protect us from that and we'll protect you from this.
Well, you sent me a link of the Paul Murray interview.
Yes.
With the lady that's blown the whistle on the whole.
Well, I've got a clip of that here. Where is it? Here. Here we go. I've got a clip of that here, and I'll play that, and I'll just make sure that. Just tell me if this is coming through.
The Health Services Union Chief Kathy Jackson claims she was offered a seat in Parliament to silence her on corruption claims.
Follows yesterday's dramatic police raid of the union's Sydney offices. Joining us now for details from Canberra, Sky News Chief Political Reporter Kieran Gilbert. Morning, Kieran.
G'day, Lee. Morning, Nina. This was quite a dramatic turn in this HSU scandal yesterday. The New South Wales fraud squad raiding the union's Sydney offices. There were claims that an individual was intercepted in a separate car park carrying a bag of documents by the police. A claim also that by the Detective Superintendent Cole Dyson, heading up the investigation, Strike Force Carnarvon, that he believes some of the information relevant to the investigation efforts had been made
to
interfere with it. So, as I say, it was quite a dramatic day. Suggestions that criminal charges could be laid soon in this investigation, the 6-month probe. Now, Kathy Jackson, as you mentioned, she's the Secretary of the HSU, and she made further claims last night. She was on the Paul Murray Live program here on Sky.
Asking me that, he could organise it for me, and don't worry, Dale, I'll make up your salary difference if you want to go. And I said to him, you take it. I said, you want to go to Parliament, you take it. I'm not prepared to go to Parliament. I'm here to represent my members.
That's Kathy Jackson last night saying that Michael Williamson had offered her a seat in the Parliament, essentially to shut her up over the claims, the corruption claims that she's made, and she's made them over many months now. And even in the wake of the police raid, they continued last night there with Paul Murray.
Isn't that shocking?
Yeah.
Isn't that absolutely shocking? You know what? You know what gets me? Williamson is not even in Parliament. He's not in government, but he's offering her a seat in Parliament. What gives him that much power that he can just offer her a seat? What has he got over the people that are currently in government that he can just make the unilateral decisions? And he's not even in power. Usually a government, like it'll be Gillard or one of the ministers that would tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, do you want to come in, right? We've got a vacancy.
That's not how it works in this government.
Not with this government.
No.
You know, what has the unions got on this government that they can make promises like that and get away with it? And if she said yes, she'd be in Parliament.
Because probably like now even because there's probably even payback now like from Julia because it's probably the unions have probably put her there. Now
Yes, they have.
she's been put there by them, by these faceless men. Now she owes them a favour.
That's right.
So now she's just making.
And the favour is you've got to cover up for us, just like we installed you, so you've got to protect us, and it's a quid pro quo.
Yeah,
effectively.
So, look, the whole thing stinks, and I just want to know at what stage does Quentin get called in? Like, what's going on?
Well, at what stage this? Yeah. Well, the problem is that she's the mother-in-law of this moron.
Yes. And what a moron he is.
Oh, my God. This is the Yes Minister. I'm going to go see Yes Minister next week at a play. It's running here in Sydney. And I swear to God, he's in it. Listen to this.
Yeah. Bill Shorten, thanks for your time. Just picking up on Peter Slipper, before we get to the Health Services Union, can I ask you, do you think he should return to the Speaker's chair while these civil claims are still being played out?
I understand that the Prime Minister's addressed this in a press conference in Turkey in the last few hours. I haven't seen what she said, but let me say I support what it is that she said.
Hang on, you haven't seen what she said?
But I support what my Prime Minister said, so...
Well, what's your view?
Well, my view is what the Prime Minister's view is.
Surely you must have your own view on this, Bill Shorten.
No, when you ask if I got my view on this, that's such a general question it invites me to go to lots of places.
Well, it's a specific question as to whether Peter Slipper should return as Speaker of your Parliament while he's facing civil claims of sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment's an incredibly serious matter. There should be no tolerance for sexual harassment. That's my view. On the other hand, these matters have yet to be established, and I support what our Prime Minister has said.
But you don't know what that is?
Oh, I'm sure she's right.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure she's right.
Oh, my God. Is this guy the absolute pinnacle of moron?
Well,
These are the people that are in charge of our country.
Look, I would have tipped him to probably be the next chief, but
no, I would. Even before this, I wouldn't have tipped him.
But he's a numbnut.
That's unbelievable. You know, even the dumbest person, the most retarded person listening to this podcast, could see that is ridiculous, and that guy is more stupid than stupid.
Yeah, that is so bad. Like, look, they're obviously been told not to say anything. They've obviously been told to keep on message, not to say anything.
Of course.
You know, but it's ridiculous. That shouldn't work like that. They've got their own mind. And but he looked a bit dishevelled. Do you think he was a bit dishevelled there in that?
Maybe Quentin had given him a slap over the clip over the ear a couple of times for being a moron. Now go and have your press conference and don't say anything stupid, son.
But you know what? Like, I think Australians do have short memories when it comes to politics and all this sort of stuff. And
I think generally you're right, but you know what? I think on this occasion, the memory is going to last a long time because
I think they can just bring this up in 10, 15, 20 years' time. They'll just bring this up, all this rubbish up, and just go, this is what you'll get.
This is what you'll get. Like they did with Gough. This is the worst Prime Minister, worst government since Gough. And how long did it take them to recover from that?
Yeah.
And this is going to be years.
83, something like that.
Well, they got in 83. It was nearly 10 years, but then they were in a wilderness
for a long time.
From 93 to 2007.
But see, it was the Rudd spin that got everyone.
That's it. If it wasn't for that, they wouldn't have got in. That's right. It was the Rudd. He was very clever with his crap. But
lies.
Oh, yeah, lies,
much.
exactly. But the thing is, you've got to ask yourself, too, the question of without defaming anyone, why they must be covering something up. They'd have to be. That's right. Bill Shorten then gone in and said, I want to dismantle the HSU. I want to call in an administrator. And think, okay, why are you suddenly in a hurry? You could have done this 4 years ago. It was such a disaster 4 years ago. Nothing's changed. But suddenly it's getting a bit heated. The cops are onto it. The DPP's got the report. Ian Cusey, 10B's, just released his report. It's getting a little bit hot. Suddenly he wants to call in an administrator. Why? Because the administrator gets appointed by him.
Yeah.
The administrator then appoints other Labor figures, and what do you think they'll be doing? Oh, suddenly there's no records available. Oh, we can't find this. We can't find that. Him appointing an administrator or wanting to appoint an administrator is part of another cover-up, because there is so much crap going on at this union that I guarantee you they're going to find more information. They're going to find even more information on other unions based on what they find in this union, because they're going to go, hang on a minute, there's a payment here, there's this correspondence between that union and another union, the manufacturers union and the workers union, and say, oh, well, let's look into that. And before you know it, they're all going to be wrapped up in it. They're all corrupt. None of them help their workers. They were set up to help their workers 100 years ago, but now the unions are only there to line the pockets of the comrades.
Now, just before we move off of good old Bill, now there was a bit whenever it was, a week or so ago, where Tony Abbott, he was talking about the Reserve Bank of Australia, and
yes,
and he was in an interview, and he mentioned that when the board cuts the rates on Friday or something.
No, he said when the board cuts the rates today, and what he meant to say was they were just something like they were discussing something today, and he got his days mixed up.
Yeah, so he's got his days mixed up. So the Reserve Bank cuts their rates on the first Tuesday of each month, or thinks about the rates on the first Tuesday of each month.
Yeah.
And during this interview, Tony Abbott got it wrong. So anyway, good old Bill, he's gone, geez, I can run with this. Look at this. He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. Running around the chamber with his pants down. He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was running around. Oh, he had taken 5 tablets of Viagra. He was that excited.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So then he jumps on the radio. Bill Shorten jumps on the radio and says this: when you want to be the alternative Prime Minister of Australia, interest rates is just an important issue. Interest rates is just such an important issue, and the Reserve Bank Board has been meeting on the second Tuesday of the month since 1960. So he's got it wrong.
He's got it wrong. And not only that, the worst thing is he told about 3 or 4 different news organisations the very same line. Couldn't wait to bloody tell as many people as he could.
Yeah, he's running around a little chubby and just...
Bill Shorten, everybody. Bill Shorten. This guy cannot be trusted.
Yeah, he's left us a bit short.
Right. So, on top of that, this is what happened this week. So the federal police have launched a criminal investigation into Slipper. Right. So the cab dockets that he said he wrote on that one, the 5 cab dockets he wrote on that one day, he was actually on a cruise in Sydney when the cab dockets were cashed in Brisbane on the same day. So that's that. So this is this.
So what's he charged with? He's given him away to someone else or something.
Well, it's abuse of parliamentary entitlements, which is a criminal offence.
Is that what's happened? Like he's given them to someone else?
Well, he's given them to this guy. I don't know how it actually works, but what's happened is these cab dockets have been, because they're always blank.
Yeah.
He gives, and this guy just goes around and fills them in, and I don't know, maybe he's splitting it with Slipper. He's saying, oh, look, here's some cab dockets. Just put some numbers down, and manually you go down to the cab thingo and get the cash for it, right? And next time I see you, split it with me. Give me half. Maybe that's what he's doing.
Look, seriously and honestly, do you honestly think that these guys are worried about, splitting $100?
Yeah, but you know what? This cab driver, he's been using this cab driver for 15 years. The same one, and he's been abusing the entitlements for allegedly for the same period of time. This guy does not have his own cab license. He just hires him as a driver, but you're allowed to go into the cab charge office apparently and cash in these cab charge dockets. They're like cash,
right?
Even though you haven't got a taxi license yourself, if you receive a cab charge docket, you can go down to a cab charge office and cash it. So Slipper's given him cab charge docket. So drive me to the airport. Here's $75, even though it's only $40. Cash this, cash that, and I'll split it with you.
But like these guys, but as a speaker, I'm not sure what he would have been on beforehand, but he must have been on like 150 grand plus about 40 grand probably.
No, he's on $300,000 a year.
But that's now that he's the speaker.
Oh, as a backbencher, I don't know what he would have been on.
But still, he still has these travel entitlements.
He's got all these perks anyway. This is the problem. They're so greedy that they abuse the system because they think they're cleverer than everybody else. It's just
greedy.
So greedy.
Yeah.
How much more do you want? You're already taking taxpayers' money for doing very little. Let's face it. You know, on your tombstone, it's going to say, "I made no contribution to this society," basically.
Yes.
And now and under that now it's going to say, "And I stole cab charge dockets." It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So you think he's going to go down for that?
Oh, look, I think it's going to be very hard for him to explain his way out of this. It really is. I think he's gone. Do you remember last week I said, in the week's time, Craig Thompson is going to be arrested.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I was wrong about that. And I also said last week, so if you can roll back the tapes if you want, people, I said that you watch them start covering up stuff and running for cover. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact words. So what happened?
Yeah, no, look, it's all very interesting. But
Right.
wasn't it like even a couple of months ago that there was the initial investigation and there was nothing to it, and then this Kathy Jackson just kept at it. But there was
nothing to it because the unionists were covering it up. They wouldn't cooperate with police.
They gave the DPP a useless piece of paper that they couldn't work with.
4 years to prepare. Something that takes between 3 and 6 months. And then they prepared it in such a way that the DPP couldn't use it. But in the end, the DPP today has actually decided that even though I can't use it in as far as it's not a brief of evidence, I can hand it to the federal police or the New South Wales police and the Victorian police, which is what he's done today. He handed that to police because he said, "Well, I can't use it, but other people can, and they can lay charges."
Well, this could go all the way.
Oh, it's going to go. This will be the fall of the government.
Yeah, this is going to go a long way.
Think about it. This Peter Slipper, they put him in there so they could have one extra vote. Greed. Instead of focusing on and doing the best you can in the minority government you've got, you're running around trying to get an extra seat. How much energy and time and focus does that take away from running the country, trying to get an extra seat? So you did that.
Yeah.
Then he falls on his sword because he's corrupt and he's stupid. I'm not even going to talk about the sexual harassment allegations because to me I don't care what sexual persuasion you are, couldn't care less. But if you're starting to steal from my pocket, effectively that's what you're doing. Then I take issue.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Williamson, who used to be an ALP president, by the way, and the Thompson affair, the hiding and we didn't, I stand by the Minister for Dobell, and he says he denies it, and I believe him. The constant cover up, 4 years to get a report. Then they get a report that's insufficient. Then Williamson gets caught trying to sneak documents out, which they said in the end were actually pertinent to their investigation, very pertinent, because they must have been the real, that he must have had, he knew where the bodies were buried, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And then Slipper gets a formal investigation out of the road of federal police by Slipper on the cab charge thing. And then Kathy Jackson says that she was offered a seat to shut up. This is all in 1 week. If this doesn't bring down the government, I think I'm going to move to another country.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this is
worse than Gough. This is worse than Gough.
Yeah,
Gough Whitlam, 1975.
This is corruption.
This is like some third world Asian country that just pays people off and kills people when they don't agree with them.
How far will the police take it, you reckon?
They'll take it all the way.
How far can they take it?
They'll take it all the way. They'll take it to criminal charge, take it to court. Someone will go to jail on this.
how far will they follow it? Like, at what position would they stop? Like, say, could it go to the top? Would they investigate to the top?
Well, only if they've got evidence. If they keep digging, and if the more they see and the more they find, then they'll think, okay, we've got enough to lay charges on these cases here, but look at all this stuff here. And they won't tell us this until they've got enough evidence to then make an announcement. But they're going to get enough evidence at the moment to charge Williamson and Thompson and whoever else is in that HSU. And then they'll do that. They'll get that rolling. But in the meanwhile, it could take another 2 years or more, or 3 years, because they'll still have all that evidence. They'll think, okay, now we've got those warrants for their arrest, and that's done, and they're on trial, or they're locked up. We've still got all this other stuff here. Let's see how far this goes. And then I reckon within 5 years, there's going to be a lot of union members that are going to go down. But the first two they'll try and get is Thompson and Williamson, because that's the brief. Their arrest warrant is based on those two individuals only at this stage. Right. They can't get an arrest warrant on anyone else yet until they've got the evidence.
Yeah, it stinks. It's a stinker.
Yeah, well, the fraud squad head said, us getting these boxes from the HSU is the last part of our investigation. Not the beginning, it's the last part. So they are going to make an arrest very soon.
Well, yeah, it's amazing why you think all this material is still there. Like, wouldn't it have been got rid of ages ago? Like, well, if you're in the hot pot, you're going to just get rid of stuff.
Well, then ask yourself the question. These unions have been doing this for years. Years and years and years. Obviously, this particular union possibly. And no one's ever questioned them. They've never been caught. You know what happens when nothing ever happens to you? You get complacent.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If you constantly think you're the smartest man in the room and you never look over your shoulder, well, that's what happens. You don't cover your tracks.
Because you think, oh yeah, well, I know Bob over there and Jim over there.
That's right. I'm covered. I'm golden. But it's that old saying, stupid criminals.
Yes.
This is why they're criminals, because they're stupid.
That's right. Now, I also heard with interest, this is off topic, if you want to go off topic.
Yeah, we can go off topic.
Christine Keneally.
Yes, Candid.
Was she suffering from a case of not being relevant?
What's it called? RDS, relevancy, some distortion syndrome, or something. I can't remember
relevancy dysfunction.
That's it.
But she's going, oh, the Labor government should wind back the carbon tax.
Yeah, that's what they want to hear, hey? From an ex-Labor premier, that's what they want to hear. I congratulate her.
The only one that's going to wind that back is Tony.
Hey, anyone heard from Anna Bligh?
No.
She's just disappeared, has she? Taken her pension and run, spent Queensland's bloody money and run.
Yeah, apparently Campbell, he's been interviewed a few times and he goes, look, every town I go to, the mayor comes up to me and says, we want to do this, we want to do that. And he just goes, there's no money. There's no money. We can't do anything. He says, we've got to turn this big debt boat around.
Yeah.
Before we can start thinking about spending money.
That's right. All you can do is maintain your current services, but you can't add to them. It's just too much debt.
Yeah, and there's a bit of it too.
85 billion.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? The Queensland debt is half the federal government debt. Think about that.
But we got nothing for it.
That's what I mean. That's the worst thing. Well, the federal government, we got nothing from the federal government debt either. Believe you me. But
we got an AFL footy stadium.
That's right. Is it and the Bligh Stadium?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the Bligh Stadium. Got her name on it. Egotistical bitch.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have seen the Foo Fighters. So
Oh well, poor you.
Well,
$85 billion, and it's gone to lining public servants' pockets. The government, Labor governments are always too big. They just hire people. You know how many... Alan Jones, when he used to work for Prime Minister Fraser, right? In his Prime Minister's office, it was him, there was Malcolm Fraser, Alan Jones, and 12 other people. That's it, right? That helped run the office of the Prime Minister. Take a stab at how many people in the office of Prime Minister Julia, I'm a liar, no carbon tax, climate change is a hoax, Gillard. Guess how many people?
Oh, there was 12 back then. So say the country's population has doubled since back then. So 24, which sounds still a bit low for this mob. So I'd say 67.
60. Do you believe that? 60 people. What do they do all day? Oh, can you tell, so Bob will tell, hey, Bob, can you tell Rob to tell Bill so that he can tell Macca, so she can tell Julia that I'm going to lunch?
Yeah.
What do you need 60 people for? You know what it is? The spin machine. You need that many people to pump out that much crap.
Yeah.
If you
right.
told the truth, you only need one person.
Yep. You can't get caught up on the truth.
That's right. You never get caught up on the truth. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy.
Oh,
That's
60
crazy.
people.
Crazy.
And 60 people, think about this, at an average of $100,000 a year. Do the maths.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
office. Prime Minister's office. Then you got the Deputy Prime Minister's office. Then you got Penny, I'm a useless finance minister, Wong's office. He's probably got 60 people as well.
They've all been quiet.
Oh, yeah. Where's she?
Yeah, she's quiet.
Yeah, she's packing her bags, trying to get some documents together, so just in case, I think.
But I don't know if you saw old Twiggy Forrest. He was at the press club.
Yep. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that
talk.
speech.
That was a Wednesday, yesterday or Tuesday?
I think it may have been yesterday.
Yeah. He took a few little sly swipes at Wayne.
Yeah, they asked him, what do you think about Clive Palmer running for Wayne Swan's seat? I actually tweeted Wayne Swan. He's got a Twitter account. I told him, I said, Wayne, you're an idiot. You don't know anything. Go away.
Do you reckon Clive will get pre-selection?
Well, I reckon he would. If he's serious and he does campaign. Oh, look, okay. They say that he won't get pre-selection because they don't want the attention off Tony Abbott leading up to an election, right? But putting that aside and assuming that he just runs a normal campaign and doesn't take the attention away, he will win that seat.
Yes.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, Andrew Forrest said, look, I don't care what Clive does. He can do what he wants. But I'd be surprised if Wayne Swan even runs for that seat because a three-legged dog would win it.
Do you reckon Wayne might retire?
Although,
gutless run and then...
he'd do a gutless and run. He'd do an Anna Bligh. He'd go out on the... Because these politicians, they're so corrupt and so greedy that you think, okay, if we lose, I'm on the back bench. Right? I won't be shadow treasurer because if we lose, we're going to get... And if I, keep my seat, I'm going to get canned because the remaining Labor Party are going to blame me for the crap that we're in. So they're not going to give me the shadow treasurer job. I'll be on the back bench earning $100,000 a year. And if I retire when I'm on the back bench, then my super is less. My pension. Right? Yeah. He'll do an Anna Bligh and retire before the next election. If the election is called, he will not, I don't think, contest his seat so he can go out on a high and take his greedy, corrupt pension that he's never worked a day in his life for.
He's just got the face of a whinger, hasn't he?
He's got a face of a wiener. I looked at his qualifications. I had a look. So what does this guy really know? Get this. He did a degree in management of all things. Do you believe this? Management. The guy couldn't manage a piss up in a brewery. Management. Then he was a lecturer at uni, right? Obviously that didn't work out. And from there he went straight to the union. And he hasn't worked anywhere else and he's gone. Now he's treasurer. Let's talk about bloody Dracula in charge of the blood bank. Oh my God.
It doesn't sound right, does it?
Oh, no qualifications at all to run the country.
No, that's the problem.
That is the problem.
So what do you reckon the budget's going to be? Soft?
Well, no, it's going to be a surplus, but it's going to be a fake surplus. It's not really going to be a surplus.
Yeah, but is it going to be like I think I saw them today? They're really trying to...
Oh, they always leak budget details. It's a softening up process.
Yeah, but this isn't leaked. This was actually from a letter I got from Centrelink saying that they're stopping because because I got kids, we get this immunisation allowance.
Oh yes,
you get immunised.
Yep.
And they're stopping it.
Is that right?
They're stopping it. It's only like $200, but they're obviously just reining in everything that they can that they think people won't worry about.
But you know what? Just what gets me. This is not the issue. We don't mind governments stop spending money. But they've got to look at their own backyard. Sack 3/4 of the people that are working in Canberra. That's where you start. You know, keep the immunisation. Sack the dickheads in Canberra who don't do anything. 60 people in the Prime Minister's cabinet. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You know, you can get rid of 40 of those tomorrow.
Or 50 of them.
Well, actually, all 50 and 60, including the Prime Minister. But,
Yeah.
you know, this is the problem. They keep bloating the bureaucracy, but they're cutting services.
Yeah. Yeah, look.
That's how Greece went broke. Everyone works for the government, but no one's getting any... But you can't go to the hospital and find a bed.
Yeah, it's coming to a head.
It's gone. They're gone. They are gone. Absolutely gone. But anyway, just to wrap up, the dictator was in town this week. Sacha Baron Cohen's character was in town, and he's a few tips for our Australian government. He said Julia Gillard should get a sex change to a woman. That's what he said. She should surround herself with female virgins. The cardinal rule of sexual harassment is don't abuse boys, they talk. Women, they just cry. This is what he said. Only pay prostitutes with cash. It may be tempting to use a government credit card to get the air miles, but it only leaves a paper trail.
He's spot on.
What else we got here? Fashion. Follow the Gaddafi rule. Don't wear clothes that can be ridiculed by the West. And once you've found your look, stick to it. Iran's Armour nut job has perfected the chat room predator. Fidel Castro nailed the truck stop restroom predator. And Kim Jong-un has made the fat Elvis in Army Elvis clothes look his own. So there you go. That's advice from the dictator. Maybe you should take some of that. So I don't know which one you'll take, Labor government, but there's a few in there.
I'll take the one with pay cash.
Yeah, pay cash.
Foods,
Yeah, Tomo's probably writing that one down if he's listening to this. Oh, geez, yeah, sort of. I wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah, geez, can we get the dictator on the payroll?
Can you hire him as a special advisor?
Make it number 61.
Prime Minister's office. You can keep his beard.
Yeah, do you reckon like you go down there and there's 60 of them, but Julia's got all their shirts are numbered from 1 to 60 in order of employment.
Yeah, who came in first? Is that you reckon? First in, first out.
Just like first in, first out.
Yeah, so if you want to sack someone, if there's 60 there, I got to sack 10 people. I sack the first 10 rather than the last 10. Yeah, first in, first out. Lock your stock program.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Sounds good.
All right, well, that's it.
All right, good stuff.
What a week. What a week. What a week. What a week. All right, guys.
Interesting one coming up.
Yes. Next week, I'll make a prediction right here now. No charges next week because it's going to take a while to go through all that evidence unless they work 24 hours a day and there's 500 of them. But within 2 weeks, there'll be a hint of an arrest. Within a month, there'll be an arrest. And by June, I think we'll be in Canberra for the tally room celebration.
And there's one thing we can thank the Labor Party for.
What's that?
Or the union movement, and that is we got a long weekend this weekend for Queenslanders.
Oh, have you really?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. Oh my God.
I'll take him. I don't care how they come.
Fair enough. Well, it won't be long before Campbell Newman gets rid of that.
Yeah, he'll be right. He won't do that.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
No, I like my holidays. They're good. I don't want them to go.
Well, no one wants them to go, mate. But something's got to give, especially in Queensland. 85 billion. Come on.
We got 2 Queen's birthdays this year.
2?
Yeah.
What? Queen Priscilla of the Desert, and then Queen Elizabeth?
No, because normally we have the Queen's birthday with you.
Right.
In the June or July.
June, yeah.
But they've changed it now, so the Queen's birthday now will be in October, the first weekend in October, so we can have a day off after the footy grand final.
Oh, that is pathetic.
So what happened is because this is the first year of the change, so to make everyone get used to it, and because it's the centenary.
So are they cancelling one, or are they going to have 2 going forward?
No, there's 2 this year.
Right, and 1 next year.
1 going forward.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we beat you on that one. We get the Queen's holiday and we get the bank public holiday in October as well.
Yeah, we don't get bank holidays, do we?
Yeah, bank public holiday in October.
We don't get that.
Oh, there you go.
That's a bit tough, isn't it?
Yeah, go back to work.
Yeah.
What do I care?
Oh, I wish I worked at a bank.
You used to.
I know. Look what I lost. I lost a day off. Oh, well.
Oh, well. Anyway, see you guys. Thank you for watching.
later.
See you, chat
This
room. Thanks
episode
very
of
much
Chewing the Fat is brought
for
to you
tuning
by
in.
the Secret Hub
See you next
Studios in
week.
conjunction
See you
with
all.
netchannel2.com.
Bye-bye.